Next point, we'll see what are the services offered by an operating system to the user. Okay. An operating system provides an environment for execution of programs. It provides certain services to programs and to users of those programs. So we'll see how operating system is going to help the user for the execution of programs and what are the services that it provides. The first and the foremost is a user interface. That's the next topic. We'll be studying that in detail. An operating system provides an interface for the user to access the machine. Okay. So the first service that an operating system provides is user interface. It provides user interface, and every operating system present in today's world has a user interface system. Is it clear? We have already seen what is command line interface, right? In command line interface, what we do is that we write commands so that it gets executed. Like I have written a task list, and so you got the list of all the tasks that the Windows is doing right now. Okay, so this is called as command line interface. So like command line interface, we have graphical interface units. Like when I'm moving the mouse, this graphical user interface, I'm just able to go to that point, whichever I want, I can click that, it is getting opened. So we have a user interface. That interface is called as graphical user interface. An operating system provides graphical user interface. Another type of interface is batch interface, in which the commands and directives to control these commands are entered into files, and those files are executed. Okay. So you have multiple ways of interacting with the machine. The ways in which the user interacts with the machine is created by a user interface. So these are the different types of operating systems. We can see that graphical user interface of Windows. Here you can note that, see how it works. Same way, command line interface of Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a flavor of Linux. It is another operating system. Okay. Android, of course, you are very familiar with Android operating system because all of you are very familiar using mobiles, right? So when you click or when you touch the screen, you have something that is opening up, right? That is an user interface, right? Is that okay? It's called as user interface. So among the services offered by operating system, the first one is providing user interface or creating user interfaces. Second one is second function or second service that an operating system does is that it enables program execution. That means that you have different kinds of softwares. Say for example, now I'm using Microsoft PowerPoint. So PowerPoint is a software, and that program is being executed in Windows operating system so that I can use it. Okay. Like MS PowerPoint, we have so many other softwares. We have built-in softwares, we have purchase softwares, we have softwares with which we make by ourselves. Okay. So another important service that operating system provides is enabling program execution. The first one, I'll repeat again. The first one is providing user interface. The second one is enabling program execution. Function is enabling input output operations or IO handling. So whenever you want to run a program, you need to have an execution where you need to handle the input output operations. Okay. Running a program may require I/O, which may involve a file or an I/O device. An output can be given to a file also. Okay. So input output handling, you can do it either to a file or any input output device. It could be a printer, it could be a CD, DVD drive, or something else. Okay, it could be a projector screen like what we are doing in our smart TV, right? Okay. Next is about file system organizations. Next service offered by operating systems is file system organization. That means that operating system allows us to create files, manage files, create folders, manage folders. Folders, in other words, you can call it as directories also. Okay, we have both graphical user interface. When you right click, you can see that there are so many options, among which if you can select new folder, you are creating a new folder, you are providing access to the user so that he can save his or her information in a very organized manner. Okay, is that clear? That is what is meant by enabling file system organization. Okay, the programs need to run and read files and directories. They also need to create and delete them by name, search for a given file. See, all these things are provided by operating systems. That means that you can search for a file in your console, okay? So that if the file is there, it will return these files. Is that clear? All of you? So what are these services offered by operating systems? The next one is enable inter-process communication. There might be very important situations where you need to interact with more number of processes. There will be multiple processes and you need to interact with these multiple processes. This is called as inter-process communication. Okay. So operating system provides mechanism for inter-process communication. This is the next service. Detecting errors and enabling correction. The next service offered by operating systems. We see a few services offered by operating system. The next important service that is being offered by the operating system is the allocation of resources. Allocation of resources means you have certain resources. Say for example, you have certain money, you wanted to give it to your friends equally, or you wanted to use these resources more effectively. Okay, so what you do is that you give to each person certain things. This process is called as allocation of resources. We have memory, we have a processor, we have so many other resources available in our computer hardware, right? We are going to allocate resources according to the need for users. Am I right? This process is called as allocation of resources. So I'll read out what is there in the slide which I have prepared. the operating systems need to implement a scheduling algorithm. Scheduling means it is giving a time slot for each of the different kinds of processes. We will see in detail what is scheduling and what are the different kinds of scheduling algorithms presently being used in a multi-program environment so that every candidate process can access the resource in a very fair manner. This is true for all resources of computer, including, see, important resources in computer will be CPU, memory, printer, and so on. You have one printer, you wanted to take a printout, one person can take a printout. Who is coming for very most urgent thing for them? Will give the printer first. Am I right? So same way, this prioritizing, these things are all controlled by algorithms. Okay. So we can call this as scheduling algorithms. So scheduling algorithms means allocating particular time frame or particular resources being used at a based on a priority basis. Okay. This is called as scheduling algorithm. This is one of the most important services that is being offered by the operating system. The next service that operating system offers is monitoring of the entire process. Monitoring means what? What do you understand by the word monitoring? Supervision, right? Just to check if everything is going right at every point of time or everything is working properly. Okay, the use of all resources by all processes and their users therefore need to be closely monitored in terms of CPU usage, memory usage, usage of cache, and different input output buffers in real time. Operating systems keep track of the same and keep and help the super user or the system administrator to take punitive action if required. Monitoring means looking whether everything is going in proper manner or not. If there is something that is not going in proper manner, what we are supposed to do? We have to take corrective action, right? For example, there are so many students who came late today. We have to take a punitive action by making them do something so that they don't repeat it. This is called as punitive action. Okay. Protection and security, the next important service offered by the operating system. So the operating system should take care that that one particular process is being allocated a particular time or so. Another process does not interfere and trouble that process. Okay. So it is the duty or it is the service offered by the operating system to protect a particular process so that it does not interfere or infringe upon other processes. Every process is owned by a user and it should not also mix up with different kinds of users. And each user has a certain set of privileges that are strictly checked and ensured by the operating system to adhere to. Security features such as user authentication. Whenever you enter into your Windows, you are asked your username and password and so on, right? We have different users in a same operating system. Okay. So user authentication, credentials, all these things are taken care by the operating system. Okay. So now this is a summary of what we have seen so far about the services offered by our operating system. Okay. So we have an hardware here, then operating system, then these are the services that is being offered. The first of service that is being offered was another. First service what we were talking about. What was the first service that is being offered by the operating system? User interface, right? User interface given here, right? So This is a diagrammatic representation of all the services that is being offered by the operating system. So this is a summary of the services offered by the operating system. We have a graphical user interfaces of different type, batch, graphical or command line. We have another important service, execution of programs, input output operations, management of file systems, communication, networking from one computer to the other, resource allocation, accounting, error detection, protection, and security. Okay. So to conclude this session, we'll see the points what we have discussed in detail. The first thing is that the first service offered by operating system is user interface. Then it helps in execution of all the programs. It helps in input output operations and input output handling. It enables file management system, file organization, creating folders and so on. It enables inter-process communication in multi-programming operating systems. It helps in detection of errors and enabling correction. Then the allocation of resources, monitoring of the entire processes, and operation and security. So now, do you have any questions to ask? Any doubts? Thank you very much for listening to me.